What is your why behind the event? The why for mine was to bring a community together. My why is to grow the community. I want to get it to 1,000 members. When we think about our culture at our business, like when we're not doing events and get-togethers, like you can drastically see it.
Give back to your people, give back to your customers, and I promise it will always work for your good. And he's like, oh, I'll think about it. And he walked out and saw the Rolls Royce and the Lamborghini, and he's like, he came back and flagged me down. He's like, so how much is it to like stay, and like who's going to be here? I'm like, everyone's going to be here. That's important at least. What's going on today's episode? We are recapping the 1% Club event that Cameron held at the Pickler just a week ago, and how you can take the same principles that Cameron implemented to create a successful event and do the same for your employees as well as your customers to double your business.
Welcome to the Premium Mindset, the weekly podcast where homegrown entrepreneurs and business owners, Evan Ritchie and Cameron Bodden, share the good, the bad, and the ugly of modern entrepreneurship and reveal what really happens behind the scenes of their personal and professional lives. As owners of two of America's fastest growing and most disruptive companies, Coconut Cleaning and Green Mango Pest Control. Stay tuned for real stories, struggles, insight, and advice from real entrepreneurs in real time.
I want to start off with something that like proud of is like, it's a little too deep for it, but the 1% Club, your coaching group, your coaching community, you just threw a huge event. And I have multiple takeaways from the event, but first, as your partner, I was just blown away at the time, the money, the intention that you put behind it. I wasn't surprised, but I was blown away at how much you chose to invest in the event itself.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to start this off with, why did you throw the event for the 1% Club? And what was some of the thought process behind, the event that you had? Because it was a week or two ago.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to recap this because, we've thrown, I don't know how many events. And for event for us is whether that's trying to market to our existing customers or like a thank you for culture or whatever it might be. This was kind of different for us because we've never had a community of people that are like paying us a monthly due to coach them. But the 1% Club is building a community of people. And so my goal as like this has just organically evolved, and this is why it's so cool to me and why it's so fun, is that originally I didn't want to do events because they're just a ton of work. They're a ton of money. They're a ton of work. A lot of planning goes into it. But after about 3 months of doing this once a month call with everyone on the 1% Club, I could see that the community, like in getting together, is the very thing that's missing. And it's funny as I say that, when we think about our culture at our business, like when we're not doing events and get-togethers, like you can drastically see it. And so if you're listening to this podcast right now, you're a business owner, when was the last time you took out your team and did something fun? I don't want to get off track here, but like I was talking to Casey, who owns Sandlot. He has an office of like 7 high caliber people, 7 to 9 people. And I was like, hey man, what are you doing? Oh, we're just coming back from our quarterly retreat. Like it's in stone quarterly with their team. I don't know where they went, what they did or whatever, but it's like, hey, I'm on the way home. I'm driving home from the canyon. We had our quarterly retreat. So that's like cool, all the big cool companies are, and I say cool, like the successful ones that are making, huge strides are doing these events. And so it's just something to think about, right? Success leaves breadcrumbs. But the community event, I knew that something was missing. And I didn't want these community events to be like the Tony Robbins type of like rah, all about business, come sit in a chair for 8 hours and like take notes, right? Yeah. And I think that like there's a time and a place for that. But what I want to do is a quarterly event with the community for people just to come and have fun. And so, as we were, strategizing, we've been planning this 3 months in advance, which your
team of 3?
Yeah. So we've been strategizing this for 3 months in advance. Hey, what's something that could be competitive, but could be fun? What's something where people can talk in between, games or whatever it might be, and that we can that's a cool environment around here. And Elsa, who's our creative director, came up with the Pickler. And a Pickler is an event space in Scottsdale. So it's a pretty great location. And then it fits on brand with who like we are, right? Black, wood, grain, like high end, nice finishes at the office. And so when I went there, I was like, wow, this facility is amazing, right? What I loved about the event, and this is like one takeaway from the team, is going into like throwing a birthday party or throwing any type of party, you're always worried about people showing up. Yeah. I didn't have that at all. And what was cool is because like we made everyone RSVP, and we spent a lot of time bracketing people to make sure that they were as close as we could to be within the same like competitive category as everyone else. And so what that made people do is commit to coming. And so it wasn't just like, hey, put it on your calendar, hope you show up. We're going to go out and like grill hot dogs or something. Like it was competition. I think people looked forward to that. And then we added a ton of other elements as well.
I loved it. I loved every aspect of it. And I think you made a good point even bringing up Casey, because we're going to hit on all the aspects of functions, because I think if you just listen to like what you just said, it was on brand. And I think that it's important to hear that and say, what is your brand? It could be going out to a dirt lot and shooting guns with your technicians. It could be going to a restaurant and getting out. So the most important thing is like, who's your audience? What kind of thing do you want to deliver to them? And like, what's your end objective? And I feel like the Pickler was perfect, because I've never been to like an indoor pickleball place where it was that clean. So right when I pulled up, because I pulled up the same day of the event, I'm like, this place is sick. Okay, so I pull up, all the stuff is there. You got the big, trailer carrying everything. Like you have the Rolls Royce out there. I'm like, this is it. It's literally perfect for the 1% Club. And I feel like that's an important dynamic that you guys consider, was like, hey, who do we want coming and what do we want it to be about? And then, so once you decided the Pickler, once you decided like, hey, this is the 1% Club and you can bring, was it a +1?
Right.
So what was the +1 aspect? Because like you could have just made the 60 to like 90 people show up and be partners with each other. But in my mind, it's like you added a 2x expense by saying you can bring a +1 that isn't a part of the 1% Club. Like what was the reasoning for that?
So, we always begin with the end in mind. Yeah. So what is your why behind the event? The why for mine was to bring a community together. My why is to grow the community. I want to get it to 1,000 members. And my why is to give back to them. And so with those three things, part of the growth is saying, hey, we want you to invite someone that doesn't know what the 1% Club is, that, even if they own a business or don't own a business, like we want you to bring someone outside of the community. And I wanted people to feel like, and it's true, like first dibs on the spots. And so before we opened it up, and this is a cool stat, that before we opened it up to like my social media page, we only had 115 spots total, but we filled like 80 or 90 of those just through the community of like, hey, you're 1%, okay. You get first dibs, right? First right of refusal to come. And then we filled it in like 2 hours once I put it on my social, and all the spots were filled. And it was like, okay, this is cool. So now we have almost 50 people that aren't members coming to experience whatever the 1% Club is, right? And hopefully they left knowing what it is after that. Yeah. But then I made sure that people had an opportunity to network with inside the community. And so we had these little gift cards. We opened it up to the community to say, hey, if you guys want to give a discount or some type of promotion to other members, get it to us by the Friday before. We're stuffing all of our bags. We're doing all this. And so I don't know if you opened up your bag or took one, but there was a coupon in there for all the vendors that wanted to be a part of it so they could grow, right, within the community.
That's awesome, yeah.
And then one of the things that I always want to do is like, I want to give back. I want people when they join the community to be like, dude, this is the best money I've ever spent. And what's cool is like coaching and business consulting is 100% write-off. Not many people know that. And so literally when you consider 100% write-off with the expenses, the value add that you get, plus like the perks that I give you when you sign up, when you come to these events, it didn't cost anyone anything. We did a $100 buy-in and all that money went to the winners, right? But everything else was paid, by me. But the point is like I gave them, I think the bags were almost like $400. Like that's 1 month worth of coaching.
Yep.
And I do that because I'm in the stage of give. Once I get to 1,000, I'm not going to put like, maybe I'll do a $200 to $250 bag. But right now I'm in like the summer sales growth mode of give, value. And yeah, we want to make money right now, but that'll come in other forms like upsells, like additional one-on-one coaching or whatever it might be. But the model to grow like the subscription is the same as we do in any other service company, is you give. It's the same reason why the door knocking for Coconut works right now. You go in, you offer the mom, hey, let me do 2 rooms of carpet for free. You come in, she does 2 rooms. Next thing you know, you're walking out with $250. Yep. It's the same principle to me, right? And so, I don't know, the event was amazing for me because the bags were on point. We did Herschel, Bucked Up Energy, sponsored everything. Like guys were walking out with cases of Bucked Up Energy drinks after, which I think is so sick. And like Gaines did it. Craig with Brian Hill Insurance Group. Like I went out and I got sponsorships. And here's the other cool thing about it. Like we made a mistake. We sold some sponsorships too cheap because I didn't want 15 or even 20. Like I got 7 sponsors. But some of the packages I made too cheap, and so I didn't cover my full expense. But I'm going to change my rates on those, and so instead of being the lowest package, $1,500, I'm going to do $2,500, and that'll help close the gap because I think I spent $35,000 total on this event, but I raised like 24, and so I was out of pocket that 10, and I was after all the bags after the event, like everything, right? I've had like 15 people DM me since, like, hey, we want to sponsor the next event. And so like, I'm pretty sure I can pay for all the events in the future and then and give them this cool, amazing bag experience. And it's because of the people that came there, the atmosphere of the actual person, the quality of person that's there was phenomenal. Like one thing I talk about is that like the only people that I saw that were on their phones were people that were taking pictures or videos. Like no one was in the corner texting or like kind of being antisocial. Like everyone was networking. Everyone was just like the vibe. People stayed after. Like we had it rented till 10 o'clock. Like people were there till 11, hanging out. We played additional games after the championship. It just like checked all the boxes.
So I'm gonna ask now, but I'm gonna say something in between. Is that like, what were like some of the text messages and messages you got after the event? Because I want to share some of mine, and I'm a part of the 1% Club. I'm your business partner at Coconut, but the 1% Club and Hype Farm is yours. And so if you're listening, you're like, well, how do I just hypefarm.com? That'll explain everything 1% related. You can join right there. And if you want to be a part of this, I think that's something that's important to highlight, is that you can't just be some entrepreneur out there, or you can, but it's what you've built over the last 14 years and what you've accomplished that has allowed you to have people who want to sponsor these things, because it's equal ROI. They don't want to just sponsor just for fun. You're not going to find people to sponsor your team outing somewhere unless you are someone where they say, that demographic that's coming, I want to just be a part of this. And I feel like that's an important aspect that we're going to highlight on another episode, which is like just kind of building your own thing to ultimately have all the things that you're looking for in other groups, like that you could have yourself. But I received a few text messages. So I wanted to say first, there was this guy, as the Pickler was telling all the existing people there to like, hey, we're about to have an event. You got to leave. This guy walks up to me and goes, what the heck is this, man? And I, like you say, maybe you can't tell that people have money. Like this guy he looked like he had it. So I said, it's the 1% Club event. Like, were you not aware of it? And he's like, no, what is it? And he's probably in his 50s. And so what do you do? He's like, well, I own a real estate agency. I have like 50 agents, all this stuff. We're in 5 states, whatever. I was like, hey, this is what it is. We'd love to have you stay. I think you could register still. And he's like, oh, I'll think about it. And he walked out and saw the Rolls Royce and the Lamborghini. And he's like, he came back and flagged me down. He's like, so how much is it to like stay? And like, who's going to be here? I'm like, everyone's going to be here. That's important at least. So he stuck around till like 6:30, and I saw him in the crowd, and he was just sitting there. So that was super cool. But then the text messages I got where I felt even guilty being associated with, or even people inferring that I helped put it on, they were like, dude, you and Cameron went above and beyond. And I think what people were most shocked at was just how well organized it was to feel like there was no structure to it. Other than like, here's the brackets, here's what you're playing. So I'm curious, on top of the text messages or messages you got that like kind of helped you see that there was something more intangible rather than like, hey, this is what I netted at the end of it or lack of net for this event. What were some of the messages you got that kind of helped you see that this is something you could do big and go, keep doubling down on this?
Yeah. I mean, I obviously got a ton of messages that like, I think what was cool is the 7 sponsors that sponsored the program is that like all of them have reached out to me and said like, we're in for next time because of just the exposure that we got, but the connections that we got while we were there. And so that was huge because when you ask your buddy to sponsor it or you ask Bucked Up to be the drink sponsor, like you want to perform, you want to get good content for them. Like they sent out thousands and thousands of dollars worth of drinks. You want to perform them because this is new for me. It was like, dude, I didn't know what to expect, right? And so those were cool. But just like the overall feeling, and there's been 3 people that I look up to a lot reach out to me after the program or after the event, and they're like, how can I be involved? How can I help? Yep. And I'm like, I don't know, man. But like that was cool to see. Yep. And I think that's why this is so special is because it's like it's organically happening. And so when people come up to me like, I want to be a part of it, I don't know yet because I don't have the end goal. I just know like there's value in bringing people together right now and having a community. But going back to some of our other podcasts and what the 1% call was about this month, which was A players, is that like we had A players help set up. The person that ran the event, his name is Jace, he runs tournaments. Without him,
was that the dude that was doing all the announcing and everything?
Yes, like that. Like he
wasn't a part of the Pickler.
He's a professional pickleball guy, player. He's sponsored, but he also runs tournaments. And so when I was reaching out to my network of like, hey, I'm throwing on this pickleball tournament. Who can run this event? Because I don't want to be over. I don't even know what I'm doing here. He was referred to me, and like the event was like crazy because there was over 100 people, but it was organized.
He was on it.
It was cool. Elsa, like I didn't know what the signs were going to look like. I didn't know where they were going to go. I didn't know, anything, but we have trust in Elsa that she makes the coolest stuff, right? And so like the drinks, the signs, the cars, just everything from top to bottom, like it was just, you have the right people on your team. You give them the power to go and execute, like it happens. Shannon, my executive assistant, dude, she called every single person one day just to make sure that they were good. No questions were, that they didn't have any questions, that they understood like what was going on, that they need to get there right at 7, because if we didn't start by 7:30, there's no way we were finishing it. And these type of events, like most of the time people kind of show up casually late. Like that's a thing, right? Like everyone was there almost like too early, right? And that's one thing that we learned too. We only booked out the Pickler an hour before the event. Like we should have done it 2 hours. We needed 2 hours to prepare. So little things like that. But again, like understanding the why for when you start an event and then throwing it and understanding the economics around it for whether it's your own party or for a community or whatever it might be, like it was cool to kind of like have it all come together.
I had a big takeaway because you thought it was funny to say, hey, everyone go talk to Evan. I love talking to people. I just like, I get really into conversations and I tend to like take in every detail and be a sponge to information. So it becomes a lot. And about 10 people in and like 5 people getting my number, I'm like, I'm just going to put my little hoodie on and I'm going to hang out over here. And like I told you, like you couldn't be antisocial. That demographic of people, there were people like taking selfies, people that were like inviting out to golf. And it's like, that's what I was like also as taken back by was the demographic of people that you had there. Like no one was trying to do anything weird. Everything was just like, hey, I'd love to connect. How can I help? Do anything I can for you. But in regard to like the event throwing, and how we're going to kind of break this down to those out there that are like, well, hey, I'm not Cameron. I haven't exited. I can't put in $35,000 into an event. we're going to talk about like what this can look like at every level, from manager retreats, company meetings, all the way to customer outreach and throwing events for customers. Cause I think that's been very useful for Coconut. But at the end of the day, in regard to like the 1% Club and the future events, where can everyone like stay tuned and look out for?
I mean, the best way is to just follow me on Instagram, C. Bodden, and we announce everything on there. My websites should be done this week, which is just hypefarm. Like we have a landing page, but like we redid the whole website, so it'll be really cool and educational. But yeah, Instagram is probably going to be the best way.
Okay, so look out for the 1% Club. I can only imagine, just knowing you, they're just going to get bigger and better, especially hearing how many people want to be involved. But let's talk about the people that generally listen to this, which is kind of who I feel like I am now, which is still in that grind. And it's what's funny too is it's almost like you in this new phase and element of like a grind of like a new level of consulting and coaching people. But for the typical entrepreneur out there, I wanted to first start with the customer outreach aspect, or the customer givebacks that we started to do at Coconut. Because I feel like where Dusty was really, really good, at least at encouraging, was like pouring money into these events where it was extremely uncomfortable, and there was no like, we didn't get sponsors, we didn't have people pay, it was always just free. And so we did 2 major events at Coconut Cleaning. And so this is where you can kind of, pull out the pen and paper, and you can look at your CRM and take a look at what kind of event you could throw. But where I feel like Cam and Dusty really got me motivated and giving back to customers was, where is our customer avatar's attention, and how can we tap into a seasonal thing that they're interested in and throw something really cool for them?
Who was the lady that was talking about her gym? She's like, these gym owners always spend so much money on getting these new twig B word in here. And like, here I am showing up every single day and they're not investing in me. Who was that? Anyways, the principle's there. That's funny, is like, that's the point, is like, there's loyal customers already within your organization that you don't do enough for, but you're willing to go like give the world just to see if they can come in and do a free class. And that was her fault, or that was her like frustration, is that like, hey, I'm here every single day showing up. I pay my bills. I've been your customer for 2 years now. Why are you letting these riffraffs come in, clog up the class, like get in the way? All the attention goes on them, and then they don't even come back. Like, why don't you invest more into me? And that's the same principle with your customer base.
And I feel like that's what you guys, we all kind of sat down. This was probably 2020, because I remember it was kind of controversial that we were doing it, and so we got some hate for it. But we did. So at Coconut Cleaning in 2020, we did Elevate Trampoline Park, where we blocked it out for a few hours. I think it was around $6,000. And then we could tell our entire customer base, hey, we're throwing this event. And we got a food truck and we prepaid. So that was a really cool thing that we did. But I think that hits on the important principle that it's like, we did Elevate Trampoline Park, and then we did a spring cleaning event where we just had a big open park, and we had a lot of vendors come and provide face paint, snow cones, little like arcade type things that people could do. And then we did Elevate Trampoline Park, right? So what I want to hit on is that 3 years back to back, 2020, 2021, and 2022, we had these events. And our CFO in January, because these events, the Elevate Trampoline and Altitude were in December, and the Spring Clean event was in March. So basically the month after.
It was so hot that day.
Yeah, that was really hot. Basically the month after, our CFO was like, we're never doing this again. Like we lost $60,000 on that event. Here's why I think everyone should consider doing something. One, I think it follows a natural principle, reciprocity, where you're taking either existing profits or existing budgets and putting it back into your existing customer base. And 2, I think that it shows your customers kind of who you are, and we're bigger than just plumbers. We're bigger than just carpet cleaners. But here's the interesting stats behind our events is that I still cannot to this day tell you the true ROI for customers signing up or cleanings that are booked right after the event. But 2023 and 4, we had stagnated growth in the months prior and the months after. And in 2024, we had over 250 calls in November of people asking us if we're doing an event in December. And
they called us?
Yeah, they called us. And they were like, hey, just like we're looking at our December, are you guys going to do anything again? And why we were measuring it, I'm not too sure. I just remember I was really curious, but I remember being more bummed that we had that many people at the end. It was like November 1 through December 10. Our office manager at the time was just like, yep, here's how many people called, and they were mostly customers. And some of them were like, hey, you guys aren't doing an event?
You shouldn't have brought this up because I'm high on this right now.
Well, okay, so here's where I'm at is like, I have seen your event, and I'm like, man, Cameron has all these lessons that he learned from how to do it right. I don't think that I took enough notes down to know how to do it right. And so for someone like me, and like especially people who haven't tried this, if I'm saying, look, I see a correlation in book jobs and just hype around the company and chatter, like via the internet and social media, a huge reduction in the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. And so I want to do these events, but if I come to you, Cameron, and I pay you, $30,000, $40,000 for an hour of your time, and I say, Cam, like I want to do something for my customers, I can't, it just can't be as big as you did it. What's your coaching?
But here's where we made a mistake, and this is what I learned on the 1% event, right? Is that go get selective sponsorships that your clients could benefit from.
So first is selective sponsorships.
Well, so it's like, we're crazy not to do it. And I told you this, and I know our team's been busy on a lot of things. It's like, I have my buddy Jason who will let us do the event for free at Pecan Lakes, like at the event center.
Oh, that's right. This is kind of like, it's not a hot topic between us, but you're definitely like, I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball on this.
Person for James to network with, for them to have access to say, hey, I'm going through a growth, or hey, I need to buy out a business partner, or we're trying to do this. Like James is your guy for that. So like that was perfect, right? The next guy was Craig Breinholt Insurance Group. We've used Craig for as long as he's been in business. Like I've used him since the beginning, but he started his business like 12 years ago, and we went over with him. Everyone needs a competitive quote for business insurance. So the people that are coming, that's a value sponsor, right? Hey, it doesn't cost you any money to get your books looked at, like to check out your insurance to see what you're paying on everything. And same thing for Craig. It's free for him to do that. And like most of the time, Craig can save the money.
Yep.
So like that's a win-win. Fraction is an accounting software. It's my biggest problem with a lot of companies, especially under the $10 million mark, that they don't have clean books. Fraction provides an opportunity for you to get great bookkeeping at a very discounted rate. Again, the perfect match there. And then Leroy Breinholt, which they're like one of the CPIs, one of the biggest leasing companies in the Valley. And so everyone at every 2 to 3 years when their lease ends, whether they're upgrading to a bigger office or downgrading to another one, like they need to know the Leroys of the world. And the Leroys need to know these business owners because these are the guys that are looking for office space. Obviously, we did Coconut because we want people to know, like, hey, this is who we are. This is what it is. We want you to go and get your carpets cleaned. And it was a value add for us. And then obviously Bucked Up, like Bucked Up is looking for anyone. And so like
they want to be in everyone's office fridge.
It was probably the easiest call. Hey, bro, I got 100 entrepreneurs that are going to be here that are hungry guys, driven. Like, are you down? Like, dude, where do I send the pallet? And so I went through everyone because I want, like, Coconut's the same demographic. And so if we go down the lens of who is our audience that's coming, Jason's willing to give us the event space for free. Because what does Jason do? Like he's trying to get people into that Pecans Entertainment Center. He's looking for families. He's looking for moms and dads that have kids, right? And so who is our demographic at Coconut? people with kids that are spilling stuff all over the carpet. And so when I go to Jason originally 3 months ago, when I pitched him on this, hey, like we have, you know, I think we have like 10,000 subscriptions, right? Of Coconut Club members.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, we have 10,000 subscriptions. Like our demographic is your demographic. Let's get people here, do it for free. It was a no-brainer for him. He was down, right? And so you make it no-brainer for people, and then you bring in other sponsorships that are trying to get into the space. And so now you start opening up the whole floodgate of home services. Jason Payne would probably sponsor it for $5 to $10 grand. Everyone's looking for a roof.
Jason.
We'll call you soon.
Yeah, call you
I'm just kidding. But you know, like you can go raise money as long as it's in line. And you, in my thing is like sell the least amount of packages as you can. So it doesn't look like, is this a coconut event or is this a State 48 event or is this a green mango event or like, what is this? And so you sell the least amount you can, but give those people like huge value adds.
I love this. What I wrote down is that basically, if you look at like the Olympic rings, like the actual symbols of the rings, right? If you have a big circle of your main customer avatar in your CRM, and they are 2 kids, married, you know, whatever, it's like, who of your network also is looking for that same avatar? And they have a customer acquisition cost. They have budgets where they are willing to allocate, especially, you know, it's Q4. We're all looking into the next year. And so, the sponsors that can serve your avatar as well is like kind of where I feel like I look back at every single event and it's like we did right knowing that our avatar had kids that wanted to go to the trampoline park. But when we threw the event, it was kind of like we didn't want anyone else there, like poaching. We didn't know if we could trust other businesses being there. And so I think that's a huge highlight too, is that as almost hands off, but also still making it worth your sponsor's time to be there is probably going to be crucial in throwing any type of event. And so the first main key advice that you would have is that who's your avatar that you're inviting, who also is looking for that same avatar to serve, and create sponsorship packages through that channel first.
Right.
And are you reaching out like before you even start the event, or you're saying, look, this is the event, here are the details, and then you're making the sponsorship package?
So what we did is I went through and I priced everything out. Hey, I have a budget of $400 per bag. The pickler is going to be this much money. I think we budgeted $3 grand for food. The signs are going to be $2 grand. And we just added everything up and it came out to be, you know, that 30, 40 grand. Right. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go build my packages. How can I build a package that I would say yes to as the business owner? And so we talked about, you know, like the placement fund being center court on the championship, having access to communicate with, like, actually give a speech at the event. That's a huge value add. Social posts, things like that, where we do collaborations with them. And then I went and created those packages and then went and pitched them. Hey, this is what I need. This is what we're doing. We made a pitch deck on, you know, we can showcase that in the podcast. Like we have pitch decks that I would professionally send to them. Hey, here's our event. Here's our demographic. Here's how many people. Here's the date that we're thinking about. And we did like a 4-week range somewhere in this time frame. And I just followed up with them that way.
Love it. Okay. Small segue into the idea of doing something for your employees. I feel like we've both done this a lot. What I think is funny for you is that like the last few holiday parties are 200 to 350 people. So it's almost like you're throwing these same events and the principles are always going to be the same. So the venues might change.
That one's a little bit harder to get sponsorships
right?
for. Yeah. That's just straight out of your pocket.
Right. So it's like the venues might change, but the principle stays the same, that whoever it is that you're trying to serve for you, it's like, hey, look, I'm willing to like pour this money in, one, to create a great community that people talk about. And yes, hopefully that they refer people, but also just I want to like give value to my people. But I feel like we've both been really big on like giving value to our employees, and like you have throughout the years opened up your home, your your cabin, the different things that you have, your helicopter, all that stuff, to employees to enjoy. And so to those out there who have a group of managers or a group of employees that you want to give value to and you want to hold a little event for, sometimes it's as simple as doing what we've done where everyone bring whatever guns you have. You and I will go to Walmart, we get chips and some drinks and, a grill, and we go shoot. And like, that's fun. People love that. And then other times it's been a little bit more, especially as we're coming up on the holiday, like my ask, because I've seen the value in it, is that please do awards for your employees and please hold like end of the year events.
That's cool. You have done a good job with that.
Something. Well, I got to show you the budget for the new awards, but so please do something for your employees at the end of the year that can look like a dinner. It could look like a little like gathering at the office, whatever it needs to be. But what I would say is that you take the same principle of considering who it is that you're inviting. Is it going to do well for them that you're inviting someone in middle of December for an evening without a +1? As much as it was hard for you to like swallow that pill to say 200 employees, you can all bring a +1. Now I've just doubled my bill. You said, who's our demographic? It's married people, people that are in relationships. I don't want them to come on a Friday night and it just be employees. So let's do a +1. So make sure it's a.
I was going to say on the awards, and I don't know if you've changed on this, but from like, I don't think we did a great. Personally, I don't think I did a great job on awards.
Cluster.
You did a great job, but what I liked, and tell me if this has changed, is like you had the same awards every single year, and so people were working for that Honey Badger award or that whatever award. And I think that's important to recognize, like, hey, these are our 5 awards that we hand out, and like talk about it throughout the year, like have it hanging up and all those little things. I think that goes a long ways.
Yeah, we still have that. And I think what's even cooler to say now that we've had a couple years running our Masters is that you don't like that. I think it's Michael Jordan, that little clip. He's like, yeah, and I took that personal. The guy who got second place in Masters, like, he wasn't mad that night because he knew he lost going into the event for the holiday party. But I just remember like within a week he texted me. He's like, "I'm gonna win Masters next year," and it's a whole annual year long competition, and he won the next year.
That's cool.
And I just remember like him getting that award in front of everyone. He was just like holding it up, like, I got it. And so I think that's a huge aspect, and I feel like that's a good way to kind of like tie in that if you're not sure what to do, especially on awards, because it's kind of like a random topic, one that probably doesn't merit a podcast, but it's this, take what your company values, KPIs, job average, close rate, customer service award. So take the KPIs that you value that move the needle and then turn those into awards, whether you want to do quarterly, biannual or annual, and then have people striving for those things. But throw the events for your people, especially your employees. If you can, or you're more curious on the customer side, there are other small businesses who are willing to do a collaboration with you too. Like, I don't want to like overlook the people that do $10,000 a month and, they serve 50 clients a month and there's another guy that does it. It's like, how can you do that? Sometimes it may not be an event. It might be like you just send them a box at the end of the year with like.
Well, this is what's funny about events is that, when we first started and when you first started, I remember going to some of the coconut holiday parties at Red Robin. Yeah. Right? Like Chili's, that's all we could do it, or Chili's.
Yeah.
And then like we held a lot at my dad's house. My dad lived on a lot of he lives on like 3 acres, and it's just kind of it's a great place to host people, and it's free. Yeah. Right. And we did like, we'd have a karaoke, or not karaoke, but like a band there and just dinner.
Magician.
Yeah. And so like, and then it ended with us going to like main event, like renting out, I don't even remember how much it was, but it's like, you rent out this huge main event for everyone. What's funny is like the feedback that we'd get after going to what we felt like was the big show, which is like renting out main event. People loved the backyard, Magician, Cameron and Dusty running around like a bunch of idiots, like getting ready for the party. And so like, you don't have to have this huge budget of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 and like put on, like, people just want to see effort. And that's why the pancake breakfast is once a month for your team. Like that costs you $100, if that, right? Like people just like seeing you as the business owner flipping that pancake for them and serving them. And holiday parties are no different. So like, even if you went out and been resourceful and you just held like a nice dinner and did events that could cost you maybe $75 a head, like people are going to love that and think about it forever.
Yeah. And I guess that's the good point to kind of finish this up on, is that people aren't always going to remember your services, what you say, but they're always going to remember how you make them feel. And so whether it's your employees or your customers or your executives, your partners, whoever it is, like just reciprocity, in my humble opinion, will always be a huge multiplier in your success and reputation as well. And so I think starting now because I know the opposite. Everyone knows that person that has that boss that doesn't do the thing, they don't do the commissions. So don't be that person. Budget for it. Create things throughout the year that helps you pay for it. But nonetheless, like, give back to your people, give back to your customers, and I promise it will always work for your good. If you have not yet gone to hypefarm.com, that's HYPEPHARM.com, look at the details of the 1% Club, but the details won't do it justice, because I've been in the 1% Club and I've been partners with the guy who founded it for 8 years, okay? If you're an entrepreneur and you want to be around like-minded people who are doing big things, join the 1% Club. Go to hypefarm.com, and I promise you will not regret it. You'll see your business double year over year.